This is 8 Minutes of Awesome. I'm Jennifer Lipsky. Imagine if you had just a little bit of extra support in your day to give you guidance and focus that you need. That and more is what Kate Helder is here to speak with us about today. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Oh, so well, and thank you for joining us here.
It's interesting how our little project came about, and it was through a girlfriend who had actually been saying she had a few issues in her life at that given point in time. And I've always had an interest in essential oils and other energy therapies, and I threw the statement straight back at her and said, well, what did you use? What oils did you use? What did you use to help yourself through it? And she said, well, I didn't, because I wasn't quite sure what to use. And that for me was a real aha moment, that there's so much information out there that so many people actually hit overwhelm and then do nothing or fall back into old habits and patterns or whatever's easiest. And it might be just go to the cupboard and reach for a painkiller or, take time out. But what was the aha moment that day was actually putting together what we thought was going to be a chart, which would actually just give people the opportunity to fast track a solution. And we covered off 5 key emotions and 30 common symptoms, because they seem to be what most of us come across throughout the course of a year. So we developed this product, Toolbox Time, and it's a deck of cards produced here in Australia. And it was myself and Kim, who's now my business partner, who have spent the past 14 months actually, or 15 months, putting the whole kit together. Because we're not practitioners, we actually sought the information from the experts in the field. For example, the energy therapies that we cover are essential oils, EFT tapping, where we actually sought the approval from the tapping solution in the US to utilise their content. Colour light therapy, where we've sourced the information from a Swiss company, and intentions, which we actually created ourselves, because I think a lot of people think about positive affirmations and think, well, it's just a statement. Yet with an intention, and what we've done, we've actually created something where it's going through your whole emotional process to actually come up with an intention that suits you. So that's a snapshot. So it's really a go-to box, deck of cards.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that project, and I did see it in person, so I was able to see really just how fabulous it is. And you touched on a really important point, that a lot of us manage stress, and we're all so busy and running, and we'll try to take time to really disengage ourselves. And really, what we need to do is be fully present. And with your cards, with your Toolbox Time cards, you give people that extra ability, just that little extra bit that they can hold right in their hand as a good reminder of, yes, I can do this, and really to connect with themselves. I'd love it if you could you open up the box and maybe pull out a random card. Let's see what's there.
I'll go for one of the emotional cards first.
Great.
Let's see what comes out. Oh, fancy that. I feel anxious.
Oh.
It might have something to do with me being on 8 Minutes of Awesome. So on the card, I feel anxious, and I don't know if that's a good angle of it there.
Yeah, that's fine.
It actually gives people the opportunity to look at the different ways you could cope with that. So, for example, I've got essential oils that are listed there in relation to what oils might assist you with the feelings of anxiety, how you would actually apply them. EFT tapping, where people who already know a little bit about tapping, and if you don't, I'd suggest you Google that, or at least go onto our website, where you have a setup statement that actually can assist you with moving through that feeling of anxiety. Because any of the feelings that we have or symptoms that we actually have a energy block somewhere in our system. And we've got to a point now where we can't actually just put ourselves into little segregated boxes, which Western medicine has done so nicely for decades now, that we really need to look at ourselves as a whole. So the processes that we go through with any of the energy therapies gives us that opportunity to address what's going on. So I might say, for example, I feel anxious, and I'm looking at the EFT setup statement, and it might be saying, even though I feel this anxiety in my heart or stomach, so it's wherever you feel that emotion, I deeply and completely accept myself. And this is a setup statement where you would actually go through and you would be tapping on specific meridian points on your body, which are all related to the end meridian points where we can actually allow that energy to dissipate and clear. You usually do it with a setup statement, and you would rate where your intensity of emotion would feel. So it might be, say, on the scale of 0 to 10, you might be at an 8. And after a few rounds of tapping, you can actually bring that intensity down to a 3 or a 4. Or sometimes you can have a really big shift and bring it down to a 0. So I could be here actually doing finger tapping points, which is probably a little less... what's the word I'm looking for? When somebody's looking at you going, she's looking kind of quirky, tapping points on her head. So you could be in a business meeting, you could be doing public speaking, you could be about to perform in a sports event, and you could be tapping on these finger points. So it's a really powerful tool, and also essential oils really enhance what's going on with EFT tapping, because they are utilised by the limbic region of the brain, and that's where all our memories are stored and trigger points. So when we're actually inhaling an essential oil, that essential oil's therapeutic qualities can actually be having an impact on the outcome that we want, or on how that level of anxiety is. The intention that I might have around that feeling anxious would be, divine light resides within every cell of my body, and my body expresses this divine light every day in every way. So something as simple as that. Colours as well have an effect on our emotions and symptoms. So there's reference there to specific colours. So green and blue and indigo and violet, they're quite cooling and calming colours. So it's whether you use a colour therapy system, or it might be that you actually just think, well, I'm going into this interview today and fancy that I actually had this pale blue jumper on. I didn't think about it consciously, but subconsciously that was something that came about. With the information cards too, we actually have cards to support the content. So for people who don't necessarily know a lot about any of the energy therapies, there's a go-to to be able to manoeuvre your way through the deck of cards. And then if you want more information, there's an information booklet. And within that, there's elaborated content on the deck of cards as well.
You know, that's perfect. It's so thorough and complete and easy to use. And I love the fact that you picked out that card, because it's something that all of us can relate to. We've all had those anxious moments. And what a great way to really approach it and be able to manage it, because we are powerful beings ourselves. And if we allow ourselves to manifest that, we can navigate really any challenge that comes our way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think probably one of the other drivers for getting this together was, I think we've reached a time in our society where we really need to start taking back responsibility for self-care. We've spent a long time just not addressing issues and not addressing things in the home, but then handing it across to a specialist or to medical practitioner. I'm not saying don't go to a medical practitioner, but there will be a lot of times throughout the course of each day, each week, where we can actually address things that come up for ourselves or with our families, and for people with children to be able to empower them to actually have the tools at their fingertips to be able to do something for themselves as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Self-empowerment and responsibility. So important. And Kate, I would like to know if there was a message that you had in your heart today for people to hear. What would it be?
What would it be? Okay, it would be, it's time to take back that responsibility. Really look at what you're doing in your lives. Don't think of yourself as being separate from anything or anyone, because however we feel and what that impact is having on our local environment, whether with family members, friends, people in the workplace, we're all interconnected. We all pick up on each other's energy, and I think if we can start thinking about that from a holistic perspective and perhaps look at things a little differently, I really think now's the time to be doing that.
Beautiful message. And also, Kate, how would people get in contact with you and also learn more about Toolbox Time and how to purchase it?
Okay, so Toolbox Time, our website is just toolboxtime.com, Toolbox Time all being one word. If you want to email me, it's Kate with a K, Kate, at toolboxtime.com. And also leading up to Christmas, if you know anyone or yourself personally are involved with alternate therapies or wanting to do something, it's a great gift. It's packaged beautifully, and the feedback that we've been getting recently from an expo we were at, and obviously friends who've purchased it, it's only been launched for the last month. It's a beautiful gift, and you wouldn't be disappointed.
Oh, Kate Helder, thank you so much for sharing this time with me and also about your amazing project. I look forward to seeing it soar.
Terrific. Thanks, Jennifer.